What's good, YouTube? And welcome to cards I would be picking up sooner than later. These are cards that if I was still vendor man instead of market man, and I was actively buy-sell trading cards, that I would be getting little piles of on the side. But you are gambling when you do that. I've lost plenty doing that while also making plenty doing that. So keep in mind, player brain, market brain mixing in here, and the outcome's not necessarily clear. Now, Rarity Collection 2 came up a ton. When I asked people's picks in the Discord, people just started listing off Rarity Collection 2 cards, and I already had some pulled up, so I'm limiting that to 3 cards out of the set, so the whole Market Watch doesn't end up being all about that. But seriously, I do feel like it's mega undervalued when that many different vendors are bringing up cards from it. Droll and Lockbird is only going to get stronger as you see more Mole Charmy cards, and I feel like it's going to be a little less format dependent. You do have a ban list looming, but I still feel with future Mole Charmy, etc., this card only gets stronger, and people waited forever for a secret rare version of this, but secret rare is exactly where Konami could easily reprint it again, ultra or secret. So while I like the secret, I'd probably be getting the collector rare that is, around $3 for the OG art, or get whatever art you do like of this card, but a special 2 Rarity Collection version that isn't going to just maybe get reprinted in another Battles of Legend or something is where I would be landing my copies at. But the secret rare does just look so good. Rarity Collection 2 itself, why it is falling out so much? People just can't sell it. It's sitting on the shelf. Its MSRP was so high to start, so they're seeing where it can sell. And we're looking at, after taxes, around $80 a box. And that puts the packs, because you get 18 packs per box, at around 4.44 per pack repeating. That is crazy to me. And yeah, it's under half of MSRP where it is actually selling at now, where vendors are taking a loss, but these sales rates are actually there. So it's not a bad time to grab your sealed versus people just a week ago spending 80 plus taxes and then 85. It's continuously coming down right now though. Where it will bottom out, your guess is as good as mine, but this does feel towards there. We'll have to wait and see. Blue Eyes is getting its structure. You've got a Link 1, and when you get hand trapped and you don't have an answer and you're a Dragon Link Yep player, where do you tend to end on a card in a Dragon deck? I think Heraldic Seal is going to end up seeing some play. Right now, it has holographic versions, thanks to Rarity Collection, that are completely considered bulk at the moment. And now it is printed in multiple reprint easy access sets. Battles of Legend, Ghost from the Past, and it has been sitting there for some time. So I would get a nicer rarity on the cheap while you can, like the Platinum Secret, but people have been buying that quarter century secret rare for their decks, which has helped it maintain a value higher in the set. So maybe go for a mid-max rarity in the penny stonk range. But yeah, I do feel like the extra deck's going to be tight, but this will probably still find its way into some list. Let me know if you think otherwise. Pot of Duality. This is a card that finds its way back into modern metagames all the time, yet when it debuted, it was one of those first secret rares going towards $160 till its reprint was announced, so it has plenty of room to find past format play as people do explore more of those, yet also mixes itself into decks as recently as Flunderies or Modern Stun to help people get to the cards they want to see to set up their board. So I do like this a lot, and the quarter century secret rare still well under $10. It's around $8 if you're picking up a near mint. I like that, but plenty of really nice versions of this, and I think it never got a collector rare outside of this. It's one of those that didn't end up getting that special treatment, if I'm not mistaken. Let's double check on that. We have the Prismatic Collector rare. Yeah, it doesn't look like it has a real collector rare outside of that set. Now, going on to a little bit of Edison St, I noticed is coming up very fast. Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge, I suggested a long time ago that you get all the black wings you want out of here as Edison was taking off. Now it's full blown. You can see the graph is nothing but going up on the secret rare here, and it's around $2. That's still very nice for a version like this. You have the old tin one being super. I think this secret before that reprint was 20 something, and it has climbed back towards $5 solid for a first edition. So I would be getting this if you're considering having a back pocket Blackwing deck for Edison. Definitely it's time to start picking up your Blackwing cards. They're only going to go off the market a bit more unless we see mass reprints. There is, however, Bonanza on the horizon, along with the 10s, giving a huge pull of 25th quarter century secret rares, and we will have to wait to see what Konami actually leans towards, which should slow your spending a bit till that sets out, depending on how deep you want to go. That's why I'm featuring mostly penny stonks. Snatch still already has its quarter century secret rare, though I really like the secret because of how much every single common was till this came out, and I do feel like people are going to eventually eat these copies up. It has only gotten cheaper since release. It's around $1.50, and I think it's good to have your copy now, not only for current format if it ever popped up into it, which I think it's been power crept at this point, weird enough to say, unless something really mixing with equips comes in, but that's player brain, right? That's Hopium. The real move for this is also for past format play, and a secret rare version does look really good, although I do like the look of the OG Ultras as well. Aroma Serapi Jasmine I brought up before out of Battles of Legend. The secret rare is just pure penny stonk to me. The Ultra was moving towards $30+ before this came out, like you can see in the graph, and there is the power creep happening right now where plants have fallen off a little bit, but still really good just to have as a generic option, and Konami might not be looking this card up for a while as it does already have that quarter century secret rare. Ancient Chat I brought up in multiple videos, but I want to bring up the Ultra because I've only talked about the collector rare. It has doubled up over time and is around $3.50 now. That's why I like the collector rare even more. It's gone up a little. When I brought it up, I think it was around $9. It's only around $11 right now, but you're telling me the highest rarity version of this card is only 3x, and this has doubled, yet that's only gone up like a quarter. I really like the collector rare versus this, but people just want access to the copies for fun decks, and I could see this being 2025 in the future, and it has actually gotten a little traction since we brought it up. I want to talk about gambling with certain concepts in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, this is Hopium Copium. This is not financial advice because it obviously can go sideways, so we're going to talk about all the pros and cons. Pile decks tend to pop up in Yu-Gi-Oh! And do their thing once again, but we just lost a lot of really good generic synchros to the ban list. So this has taken a huge backseat, yet still could find its way into decks in the future. I don't feel like has been fully power crept at this point. So I like the Punk engine a lot, and I would be setting aside maybe like 12 copies of each card. I wouldn't go fully deep into it if I was still vending, but I would have some piles set aside of this because it's not the quickest repopulating quantities in the world. Like Grand Creator's Ultra here is still, under 100 listings, but the secret rare is readily available, and all of it is mega cheap. So if we see a generic synchro find its way back in, which Konami tends to do these loops of different formats to break my board, bro, we could easily see that again with a synchro in the future, and then I think you would see this engine in a pile deck once again, as long as it doesn't see power creep by that point. It's hard to see this actually getting power crept within like the next 4 years completely if you do get those generic good synchros. Diviner of the Herald's another card that is really good. People wanted the easy access reprint, and they got it in Battles of Legend. It also got its quarter century secret rare along with an ultimate rare, and I really like this specifically in the EU printing. So if you can actually get your hands on these traded in person, it's come way down. I know it's not as penny stonk-ish. There are penny stonk versions, but I like specifically the ultimate rare in terms of being undervalued as a whole. The quarter century secret rare keeps getting looked up to some degree and has come down a little bit, but not a lot, where the ultimate rare nosedived. A lot of OTS ultis have nosedived if you're looking around there. Millennium Eyes Restrict, specifically the legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium version, is one I like. The secret rare looks great. Don't get me wrong. And the Pharaoh rare is highest rarity. Secret rare over here is easier to get, is why you see these price differences. But for this ultra rare, this duelist pack is way up in price versus what it used to be when it came out, and is still one of the hardest duelist packs to get. It was very loved by the community, and this version of the card, the meta card inside, not the anime card, even though it has a reference to it, is only around $2.60 to $3. So I really like this specific version, and right now it's kind of too slow because people can shotgun their hand traps, and this doesn't end up being the stoppage it once used to be. That's where power creep has come for this card right now, but I still like the specific version and think it could find its way back into a metagame, especially depending on what's in your hand and what you're able to stop along with this as you're linking up and building your boards. I never count instant fusion out as long as it's not banned, which I'm pretty sure it's still limited. Every single kaiju is under $5 at this point. I think last time I covered them, some of them were a little more, but every holographic highest rarity kaiju or kaiju card is 5 and under. If Konami goes back to a build your board, break my board format, this is something I'd like to have, and of course I'm a huge kaiju fan as is. Winter Cherries is the only Ghost Girl not to get that quarter century secret treatment, which leads me to believe it could be in Bonanza or around the corner. Still though, this ultimate rare has a huge overhype history as we enter tier 0, where it's not played again for the moment for the most part, but I really love the foiling on this card when it's done right. The problem is getting one done right, so I would probably get it in person and not online, but I could see this getting hyped back up to $20 at some point pretty easily once again, which did recently-ish happen in history. Always with cards, I like to go for things that are going to come back around. What's that mean? Well, Tenki is completely generic, so all you need is Konami to go in an archetypal direction where Tenki can search something for it and be necessary to that. And so the collector rare is way down as people are shaky on collector rares, and the ultimate rare is actually at a low point. I think the secret rares are okay to grab, but I specifically would think about the collector rare in terms of what could go up the most at this point, but the secret rares wouldn't be bad grabs either in the penny stonk range. Dark Magician. Now this is my collector brain, which conflicts a bit here because not everybody loves the speed dual stamp. A lot of people complain about the speed dual stamp, but then a lot of people gush over the quality of the card. This is now the highest rarity version of the Red Dark Magician. It came in every single one of the Streets of Battle City boxes here. It was guaranteed, and this hasn't exactly spiked past MSRP quite yet, but is low on listings. A lot of these cards have actually spiked up out of this set though. Some caused by me, market man, my bad. But when it comes down to this specific card, I kind of like just having it for the collection. I've seen them in person, they look great, and I would consider definitely having a couple of these back there because it looks good, and I could easily see it being 5 to 6 in the future, even though it comes in every single box. Dark Crisis, the 25th anniversary reprint, has some wild prices for its cards, which is why I don't necessarily love the sealed pack itself, but I do like the aspect of the 25th anniversary collection. Now keep in mind, Konami could just re-wave this 25th anniversary collection. They said they want reprint any quarter century secret rare card as quarter century. They didn't say anything about re-waving, and they could do it before this entire thing is over. They could stock it, and we've seen them actually re-wave specifically the legendary collections themselves plenty, so that is always in the back of my head with this. But look, it's like half the price of the old ones, and this Dark Crisis is the only version that has those holos, and it did not get individual boxes like the rest of the sets inside. So I do like this. because it will contain that extra pack, have all of the icons, and a lot of people seem to have better holo rates inside of this pack as well. And there's no like first edition identifier on any of them, even with the boxes. So I do like this quite a bit for having the Dark Crisis, but that's a sealed collection more so than anything. And if you have any of these 25th cards, be aware they're bought out to nosebleed prices out of Dark Crisis, while everything else has fallen out. I was looking through the lower end. I think there's plenty to speculate on in the Lost Art collection itself, but I actually like one of the higher end cards that's already trailing up. Burstinatrix, high rarity heroes. People love their hero collections, and this is one that's probably not getting outdone for specifically its Lost Art. You do have that OG secret rare that's a ton of money, but this in specific, I don't think Konami's touching the Lost Art still, and it's probably a good thing to have in your collection. I think Neos Wiseman's interesting. This was brought up by the Discord. It has fluctuated slowly for its secret rare, and it's still around $1, but it's been there for some time, and it just has its ups and downs. I think this is a good mid-max for a hero collector to have since the OG's in secret, and it looks pretty darn good. Also, if you don't mind the speed duel stamp and you're thinking about it, I think the secret rare Bubble Man is a really good pickup because it mid-maxes versus that other secret rare collection in the ultimate rare, and then it's next. You have the Structured X Super, and then you're pretty much out of holos. So it was a really nice timely reprint out of Midterm Paradox. Speed Duel's ending, so a lot of players are letting go of their cards if they're not making it to events, but do keep in mind there's still Speed Duel buyouts. That community's alive and well and kicking and has more giant cards to play for. All points aside, nice rarity hero card. And you have another one here in Shining Flare Wingman where the 10 version's actually fallen all the way down to 5, so interest is down. And the Legendary Collection GX First Edition is also a matching 5. But then you have this secret rare for a third secret version, and it's under $1. And I kind of like that. I could see this being $2.50 to $3 in the future as people go, oh, I want some kind of version of this, but not necessarily these, and I want to spend a little less. The Speed Duel stamp, I do think, does stop some people from collecting and makes it a little more niche. I think that's fair to bring up even if the quality's better. I personally am not bothered by it, but keep that in mind when penny stonking around. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Did you agree with some of these picks, disagree, and have I slept on something not in here? Let me know down below. There's cards that were already bought out that people were bringing up, and then ones I slightly disagreed with, and I gave my reasons in the Discord if you want to see that conversation. But seriously, Rarity Collection 2 has so much going for it with all the vendors talking about the cards from it, and that makes me think it's getting undervalued a pretty good amount now, but I've been a day one supporter of saying long term it will succeed. So my agenda of owning not really any of these cards besides the 2 boxes I opened, I kind of want to get some sealed of this at this point and sit on it myself, but I am forever market man, not vendor man at the moment. Thanks for watching.